Well, what is up, guys? I am coming to you live from the Cuck Chair at the Wyndham Garden Hotel in Orlando. I'm stuck here on a layover, and today has sucked. But I've been positive. I've been like, hey, at least my legs work. At least I'm healthy. As the universe continues to just grind my gears. Not a big deal, though. I mean, people have real problems here. I've just been fucking waiting all day, and it is... Man, makes you realize that 9/11 was a good thing. Yeah, it's got me to that point where I'm just like, I want people to suffer because I'm mildly inconvenienced right now, which is a bad place to be. But I'm not there anymore, you guys. I'm happy now. I'm physically comfortable. I'm well fed. I just showered. This room's nice. I got no complaints. But man, being stuck up at the airport, let me tell you. The airport is no place for a man like me. I don't know. Places that, when there's public places where anyone's allowed in, they suck. Because the public sucks, and anyone who wants to work a job working with the public sucks. Anyone who works for either TSA, Spirit Airlines, should, as part of their employment, serve at least 6 months in prison. Which leads me to this topic I wanted to discuss. I wanted to talk about therapy. Now, a lot of people said to me that I should be in therapy. They don't say that anymore, though, because I'm sober now, and I fixed all of my problems, and I'm completely cured of all mental ailments. And overall, I'm just an ideally perfect human specimen. But I know a thing or two about therapy. You guys, I got sent to a boarding school, 2 boarding schools actually, and they had like therapy as part of the curriculum. The school is called Monarch, which was also the name of the covert CIA operation where they brainwashed people and did mind control studies. And this boarding school used those same tactics, which is how I know I'm immune to manipulation, because they couldn't break me. I used to see people turn right in front of my eyes. I would see them walk in, a normal kid, and then all of a sudden they're just like, I'm a robot, I must obey the system. They would function in a method called, they didn't call them rules, they called them agreements, because you agree to be there. Which, so manipulative. I didn't agree to shit. You fucking sent me here. And they're like, the door's right there. And then if people walked out, they would... Hello? Sorry, as I was rudely interrupted by the front desk, I kind of fucked this chick over because apparently there was a direct flight if we would have waited an hour later, but I thought they were saying it's just an hour later to get to Orlando, so I was like, oh, fuck that, I'll just go to Orlando sooner. Then we got here, so I was like, oh, sorry, man, this is black lady, nice lady. I was like, I feel kind of bad, so I gave her my my +1 at the lounge that I use my credit card points at, and then she was in the lobby because I got a hotel room bought for me by an amazing human. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into anything. And you know what? She needs an Uber to La Quinta, and I'm buying her one because I'm a nice fucking guy. All right? Anyways, therapy. Things I don't need. So, as a kid in boarding school, they would pressure us to, not only would they pressure us, our success in the school system would depend upon this. We would have to be like honest about like the worst things that have ever happened to us and like open up about terrible things in our past. And we're all like 14, so there's a lot of weird shit, and everyone's too young to know what's appropriate or not. But their whole thing was like, everything's appropriate, just say whatever you want. And it was weird, and I never participated in it. I could see that there was some weird, fucked up agenda that I just didn't partake. I slid under the radar by just being like, well, that's very interesting. That might have something to do with your issues with your parents and blah, blah, blah. And people be like, that's very insightful of you, Eli. I got called insightful a lot, and I never had to talk about myself once because I just fucking finagled the game. years later, let's see. Yeah, I was put in therapy as a kid a number of times too. I think I was just too smart for my parents. My parents were very average, normal people that just thought very simply about life. And here I come, like, hey, we can put flies in the fridge and super glue their legs to matchsticks so when they warm up out of the fridge, they can fly around and the matchstick will be flying. And they're like, that's genius. And we're not prepared to raise it. You figure about fucking Monarch Butterfly Therapy place. Monarch's a butterfly. I texting this lady to make sure she gets the Uber. It'll be here in 2 minutes. Anyways, there's one reason why you should be in therapy, if at all. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying there's only one reason to be in therapy, and that is so you have someone to complain to and vent about so you don't bum out all your friends. Now, yes, you should have friends that are there for you if you need to vent, but like also you shouldn't put that on them. Like I know that I surround myself with people that will help me out if I need. Give me a place to stay, that would loan me money, but I don't ever ask for any of that. But it's just good to know that I could if I really needed it. So I mean there is a benefit to that, but also what therapy does is it encourages you to talk about bad things. You should sweep it under the rug. People say you shouldn't sweep things under the rug. Have you ever swept dirt under the rug? It doesn't grow. It just stays there. It's out of sight, out of mind. We can draw some metaphors here. Sure, if you're allergic to dust, it could interfere with allergies. And then you can talk about how allergies are proof that humans are not supposed to be on Earth at all. I'm not going to get too abstract here. I'm just saying, if you've had some fucked up shit happen to you, bury that shit down. Use it as inner fuel, because if anything, you're just giving people ammo to use against you. Like, I know some weird shit about a lot of people. And if I ever see them again, I'll be like, oh, you're that guy that did that thing. I'm not even going to say some of the stuff it is, because it's really messed up. But therapy just encourages you to emphasize the negativity when you should be emphasizing the good things. You shouldn't be going somewhere to talk about the bad things that have happened and reopen old wounds. You should be talking about what you want to do with your life now, what plans you have for the future, what goals you need to set. Dude, what is going on here? I'm all full of I got in the airport lounge, right? I got the Platinum Amex, the fucking Capital Venture one. I don't know if I should be saying what types online actually, but I got all the ones where I got access to all the lounges, and I gotta say, if you travel a handful of times a year, it is worth it. But man, sometimes all they have is cookies and gummy bears, and I've been off the sugar, but man, I've also been completely sober, so I need to sprinkle a little something in it. So my stomach's just full of coffee and gummy bears and chocolate chip cookies is what I'm trying to say. Also, I smoked weed 3 days in a row. Not that I owe you an explanation, internet, but I just want to stay consistent here. And honestly, it wasn't that great. The whole time I was high, I was like, I wish I wasn't this high. Well, except for day one. Day one was awesome. Then day two, I went to a bunch of 4th of July parties, and I was like, I don't know how to talk to people. Because that's what happens. If you stop doing drugs, when you start again, you're not as good at them anymore. That's why I used to say, don't take a break from drinking. If you're an alcoholic, just keep powering through. Because you got momentum, and then once you take your foot off the gas, it's going to be hard to catch up again. Now, obviously that's not what I say now. Now I condone sobriety, very much so. So much so that it surprises me. I never would have thought I would have been able to be this. Like, dude, I'm sober right now. Today is completely fucked, and I'm still like, I'm having a good time. It's nice. It's nice to be here. Happy to be here. Therapy's a load of bullshit, though. I don't see any benefit other than allowing it to let you vent to a professional so you don't have to vent to your friends. Because if you vent to your friends, they're gonna judge you. Like there's no way they have to. It's people have to judge other people. It's how society functions. If you see every example I just thought of is if you see a guy with a clipboard and a orange vest and a hard hat on and he's hammering away at a wall, you're gonna be like, that guy's supposed to be doing that. Which is also why you should always wear that, so you can get away with committing vandalism. But you have to judge people. If you're just sad and mopey and you're just moping to all your friends, eventually it's going to be like, dude, all right, I don't want to hear this shit anymore. And same with like your girlfriend or significant other or whatever. It's just, yeah, there's going to be times where you're going to need people to support you. But if it becomes, sometimes we hit a rut and then we hit another rut and then just things keep going downhill and cascading. And the more you talk to people to get support about your downward spiral, the more it emphasizes it and the more everyone sees it in your mind. So it broadens the perspectives, the amount of perspectives contributing to this negative downward spiral. And it just enhances it it makes it worse. So I can see that if just everything's going to shit, you just go scream to a therapist for an hour and then you can go hang out with your friends and be like, all right, I got that off my chest. Because I know sometimes when I'm dealing with shit and I'm like really worked up about stuff, after I just get it out of my system, verbally, like just complain about it. I'm sorry, it feels good to complain sometimes. I wish it didn't. I think complaining is a very feminine trait. But, man, I do it in a masculine way, though, where I complain in a way where I wish violence, which is not feminine. So if you're going to complain, make sure to include some death threats and some violence in there. Therapy is, first of all, let's break down the word therapist. The rapist. What if you got touched by your therapist? Who are you going to talk to then? Dude, I'm pretty sure every therapist I went to had to go get a therapist to talk about me. I'm not making this up. This is not a joke. It's funny, but I went to a therapist once. I did try going to therapy by choice. Just because people would always tell me to go to a therapist, and I wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to be like, that's not what I need. But I went and I was like, hey, I'm a narcissist and da-da-da-da-da. And the therapist was like, you're actually not a narcissist. And I know that because a narcissist would never admit that. And I was like, oh, so I'm actually better than everyone. So confirmed by a therapist, I am better than everyone. Not my words. Well, except totally, it is my words. But man, I have some fucked up memories are coming back. I had a number of therapists be like, I can't work with you. Because I know how therapists works. I could be a therapist. I have the game figured out so well that when I went in there, I was just like, oh, I do this because of that, because this happened and this happened. I know my whole thing figured out. I'm very self-aware of who I am and why I am the way I am. And they're not ready for that. Because they want to poke and get me to admit things And I'm like, I already know all the things. Let's talk about you. How's your relationship with your father, Dr. Phoenicia? I don't know, man. I was thinking of a Persian woman. That's not even a real last name. Now, psychologists, that's where you want to spend your money because they can prescribe the fun drugs. Just kidding. Don't do that. I'm on a different path now, guys. It's very hard to be positive and funny. But yeah, psychotherapist. That's a worse word to break down. Psycho, the rapist. But psychologist is you can just lie to them. I had this doctor in college, and I used to just be like, yeah, I need he prescribed me 2 milligrams of Xanax and 30 milligrams of Adderall every day. Now, I did not take that much every day, ever. But he wrote me a prescription for it a number of times. And even people that do drugs recreationally on the street know that you're not supposed to mix it down or an upper like that, especially at that level. I would tell him, I don't remember what I used to say. I would just bullshit him. I was like 18. And he would just look at me like, the hell are you talking about? And I thought he was always on the verge of being like, get the hell out of my office. But he would just like screw his face and then just write me the prescription. And I would just be like, I can't believe this is the American medical system. This is insane. They don't teach you what they should be teaching you. Like doctors, medical school. My mom went to medical school. She didn't learn shit about nutrition. She didn't learn she thought that marijuana was like addictive and you could overdose on it. And they taught her that in med school. Or maybe she just made that shit up. But they don't teach you anything about nutrition, which is literally the most important thing you could know. Like if you were a complete moron who just didn't know shit about shit, and the only thing you knew about was nutrition, that would set you ahead of every other human. If you measure competition in terms of longevity of bloodline, knowing what to eat and what not to eat would guarantee your survival over all human competition. But they don't want you to know that because they want you poor and sick, yada, yada, yada. They want you dead and slaves and bad stuff. Bad stuff. Those pesky governments, those pesky guys in power, what are they after? I'm trying to kick my feet up, but it's too damn high. The cuck chair is too low. The cuck chair is too low at the Wyndham. I'll tell you what. I've been training a lot every day, and going this 3 or 4 days without training makes me want to punch people. I was just in line at Spirit Airlines, and I was just like, by the way, Spirit, I started this trip having your back, Spirit Airlines. I posted, hey, why does everyone hate on Spirit Airlines? It's just another metal tube with a bunch of strangers in it. They're all the same. I said that, and I was wrong. Because they're not all the same. Spirit Airlines, the chairs don't recline. They don't have power outlets to charge your phone. And everyone who works for them is not just retarded. That's kind of a guarantee with anything. They're bad people. They're bad, evil people, and they should be punished. And they're all going to hell. But I started out, I had your back, Spirit Airlines, and then you fucked me. You bent me over, and you had your way with me. And now, how do you even get a revenge on a company like that, on an airline company? How do you get back at them? I know what you're thinking, and I'm not going to say it. Or maybe you're not. You're probably not thinking what I'm thinking, because what I'm thinking, I'm not going to say online. But I'm also definitely not ever going to do that because I got a lot going for me, and I don't want to upset people that like me. But like, should I shit all over the bathroom? That would just punish the other people on the plane. They probably suck too. They're probably equally need to be punished. But let's not forget who really did 9/11. It was United Airlines. Why does everyone seem to forget that? Everyone seems to forget. Sure, there's a lot of argument about who was behind 9/11. Was it Bush? Was it Al Qaeda? Was it Osama? Was it those two guys whose passports didn't burn up and jet fuel steel beam melted postpartum rubble of metal and stuff? But there's one thing no one has any disagreement on. Is United 93. I forget the other one. But United 93 ran into the World Trade Center. That is a confirmed fact that no one disputes. No one has any alternative. Maybe it was Southwest. Southwest doesn't fucking fly to New York. No one says that. Everyone knows that United Airlines did 9/11, but they'll never say it like that. It's like, well, they were just using that plane. Like, what do you mean? The United Airlines did 9/11. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm going to fly United because... It's a long remote, dude. Someone's definitely put this up their ass, huh? We're not just at any Wyndham. We're at the Wyndham Garden Orlando. You know what they say about the Wyndham Garden Orlando? They say it's called the Wyndham Garden Orlando. I don't know, man. I'm just happy to be yelling to myself in a hotel room after a long day of not yelling because of being socially acceptable and what have you. Oh yeah, let me get into why I'm here. I was auditioning for Shark Tank. I was trying to get on Shark Tank, and because everyone says that I should, and I was like, oh, $250 round trip. That'll be sure. That's real simple. That's not much money. I'll just fly out, do my little pitch, get back home. And then it turns out I flew in 3 hours away from where I was supposed to be. So I was like, well, shit. I got to rent a car. So I had to drive like an extra 6 hours round trip. Just a lot of inconvenience. It's not even a good story. That's why I forgot about it until now. The actual showing up part, I parked in a community college. I waited in line. They gave me a wristband. They called my number. They said, move to this room. I wait there. They said, move to this room. I moved rooms 5 times. I was number 150. And then they're calling out numbers. They're going 1, 2, 3, working their way up in order. And then they get to 170. And I'm like, hey, what the fuck? I'm 150. And they're like, where have you been? I was like, you told me to come downstairs. And they were like, well, fucking Maryland people, dude. Just any all people, man. Nobody's exempt. Not even me. Because I am you. I'm all people. Or whatever it is that I believe. Yeah, I just went in, I did my pitch, I gave a bunch of samples out to all the other people. Everyone was really excited about it. People were coming up to me and they were like, oh, I want to try that. This is such a good idea. Da, da, da. I'm going to find out in a week if they call me back. And I'm not allowed to tell any of you what they say or if they even call at all. So, honestly, I doubt it. I doubt anything's going to happen. But I just wanted at least to try. Always try, you know? I've accomplished a lot in my life, and I don't attribute it to being positive, because I've never been positive. My whole life I've been like, I'm going to end up homeless and dead in one of the two, in the next 6 months to a year. I've been saying that for 10 years. I just recently stopped saying that. And my life's been great. Because I'm like, this probably isn't gonna work, but I'm gonna try it anyways. So I don't walk into things with this delusional like, oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna do great at this and everything's gonna be awesome. Sometimes I try to do that, but it's a lot more like emotionally stable to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I don't know if that's the best approach. It's worked for me, which means it is the best approach because I'm the one talking and I'm talking about my thinks and me thinks me good. So, and you agree if you watch now and me no make word good anymore. So, yeah, I'll be home tomorrow and yeah, my buddy said he'll do this podcast, like he'll film it in a studio and it'll be like professional and stuff. But I like just whooping it up, pressing record like I've been doing for 6 years. No one's telling me what to do. Well, no one ever has, except for that drinking bros thing that happened. Sorry, police. I still regret that sometimes, but I wouldn't have became the man I am now. Seriously, I wouldn't have had time to build all this business stuff if I didn't get canceled off that. So, ain't all bad. But yeah, I really do enjoy just doing these podcasts. I need to do them like every week. Also, some motherfucker gave me a 1-star on Spotify. I have an idea of who it might be. And I'm gonna fucking find you, dude. I know where you live. I do. But give me 5 stars on Spotify. I have like 39 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. But give me some more on there too. Unless you're not fucking entertained right now. You're 30 minutes in. I know you're entertained. If you're still watching, give me fucking 5 stars. What's your fucking problem? Therapy is bullshit, you guys. If you need therapy, just do what I do and start a fucking podcast. You can just talk to yourself and maybe someone will listen to it. Nobody really listens to this, but like some people do. Maybe like this podcast has 10,000 plays, but that's in 6 years. So I don't know. I'm averaging like between 30 to 100 people, which isn't much, but it's enough to say that I'm not talking to myself. Barely. But also, not really. And anyways, or either way, who cares if I'm just talking to myself? I don't need you. You people slow me down. That's why I don't have guests, because I'm fucking too fast for y'all. I can't be getting slowed down by guests. I need to be at this fucking cruising altitude with 30,000 mind feet. And you guys are just down there on the floor picking up rocks, looking for bugs crawling around. And I'm killing them, turn them into food. Anyways, yeah, the irony here is I'm pretty much doing this as if someone were doing therapy. Is that what it's called? If you're going to therapy, are you doing therapy? Or is the therapist the one doing therapy? Or are you both doing therapy at the same time? Either way, the only kind of therapy you should be doing is physical therapy, because you're weak. I'm not getting anywhere here, guys. I'm getting nowhere fast. I'm going down with this ship. We're all going down together. All right. I need to get to sleep so I can wake up at 7:30 a.m. to come see you, beautiful people. Goodbye. Subscribe.